I can have more people come in the door for you to not log, to not follow up with? Does it make sense? So we have this other entire gaping chasm of opportunity here as far as getting them on the traffic log. And when you start figuring, we're only logging 8% of the people on the log of the 30% we followed up with. Holy crap. And then, coming back into the dealership, okay? What's this other gaping chasm? What's this third gaping chasm? Actually picking the phone up and causing the door swing to happen again. Because why don't sales guys like making phone calls? Rejection, fear of rejection. Fear is a big driver. Is fear logical or emotional? It's emotional, because humans are emotional. We do the emotional thing. Logically, it makes sense that I should call him back. Emotionally, I don't want to be told no, so I don't call him back.
And now, because a lot of people prefer, they may send a lead in, and it has their phone number and it has their email. I don't do it all the time, but I try to get text and email. A lot of people just do it. For whatever the reason they're at, they're on it, and respond more quickly to email. So whatever form we can take in that to pursue the follow-up is email.
Augie, my question is, why isn't, quote, how do you like to be communicated with, unquote, part of your sales presentation? Why in God's name are you blowing somebody up on the phone? How many of you in the room would much prefer a text message or an email other than a phone call? From anyone?
That's kind of what we got, like with Cycle Pro and Cycle Pro we're using.
Cycle Pro Solutions?
Yeah, it's kind of nice to get to, and you can send out a text or an email.
From the system, it's cool.
The CRM system?
Yeah, and there's a dashboard that comes up, a real-time dashboard. They're not going to. VSEP is not going to, just know that.
On your phone, it's all mobile, you can be out in the parking lot, you can actually be in the building and all that, and sending it in, and then it lets your managers know where you're at, what step you're in the deal and everything, so it's actually pretty cool.
So cycleprosolutions.com. One of the owners there is named Brandon. We've had these guys present at our 20 clubs. They're one of our industry partners. So follow up with Ricky. He'll get you hooked up with those guys and they can do a demo for you. Oh, good.
Working with them directly, you will find them from.
So you guys should know that everything we do is just to find the best solutions for you guys. There's nothing in it for us. We have no financial attachment to those guys or anyone else we would refer to you. We just feel with our business model that we have an obligation to find the best solutions providers in the industry and hook up with them. So if you have a question about that, Ricky's working on a whole CRM project. He's working with every CRM to figure out if a snippet from that, how do we build the perfect world? And we think we're going to have them construct that for us and maybe white label that. But they have a very good product. As long as it does what it says it's going to do, and a lot of their bells and whistles sound really cool, and I don't know if they actually work or not, but it's amazing what the thing is capable of doing.
What's that? And basically, yeah, and it doesn't allow you to just, put in their information and then print your bill sheet, walk over to the office, and you have to actually engage in each of the steps, everything through that before you can.
Everyone got their own login, you can change the step you're in.
Yeah, get a demo. They also have something, and I'm not sure how well it works, but they got a little key fob thing so that you can, like for inventory control, and your rep comes and says, well, where are all the bikes? It'll tell you exactly where all the bikes are because it's chipped. Yeah. It's neat. Anyhow, we're just talking about the marketing side of the fence, and there's so much that Triumph does. Do they get it all right? No, they don't get it all right. Does any manufacturer? No. But look at what they're doing as far as the product they're coming out with, how they're pushing it, how they're scrubbing the leads to get qualified leads to the dealers, and then how the dealers completely drop the ball not once but 3 times. Because I don't follow up with a lead causing them to come in the door, and then the ones that do come in the door, I don't put them on the traffic log, less than 10% ever make the log, and then the ones that make the log, I don't pick the phone up and follow up with them. And most of the times the reason the sales guy doesn't pick up the phone is because sales guy will look back at sales manager and say, well, is the price still the same? Yeah. Was the financing still the same? Yeah. What do I need to call him about? And the answer is, what'd you learn about the guy? That's like saying the girl at the bar last night, why are you going to call her back? And what are you going to talk to her about? Whatever you found out about her from the bar. How is that hard? How is that hard to comprehend? Yet all of a sudden the mechanics of the deal don't change, so we're worried about making the phone call. And you know what that tells me? You know nothing about the customer. If all you can think to call about is the bike and the price and the financing, you know nothing about your customer. Don't look now, but you're causing a price shopper. You're causing it. Because you don't have anything else to talk about other than the bike and the price and the financing plans. Huge opportunities there. Plus it gives me a chance to use pink, green, orange, and blue on the same piece of paper. Schoolie! Tell these guys who you are.
I'm Jordan Schoolmeester. My nickname is Scooby. The nickname I got stuck with a long time ago. I tried to use that in penmanship in elementary school. It was shorter. That got kiboshed, so I had to go to full name again. I've known Sam and his business partner Tony for quite some time now. More on the user end of things. I was the kid who scraped dollars together to buy a $200 clapped out two-stroke and fixed it myself and moved all the way up from dirt bikes to street bikes, back to dirt bikes to Harleys, and then back to dirt bikes again. So I've always been on that side of the fence. Love the industry, and I love the sport, and I'm really getting to know and learn the industry. I look at things differently than like Ricky or Sam does. I think that's part of why I was brought in. My perspective is different. I look at things from a process and from an implementation, a leadership style that is different. Some of the similarities we have in the firehouse, you guys actually have in leadership, you spend so much time with them that they become your family, and it feels like home. It's also very hard to work with people that are your family, and you spend probably more time with them than your real family. So how do you do that? And I believe I sell people on the best version of themselves. I help people succeed by giving them the tools they need with process and implementation and accountability. And that's what I sell, and that's what I like to share.
And that's what we're trying to do, is figure out what's missing relative to everything that we know works in the industry and pull that out of you. So the best version of yourself is to find that missing piece to make that human connection with the next person walking in the door, which ultimately gets you what you want, which is one more thing sold. Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky Adams. Again, opposite of schooling, I'm a student of the industry. I came from this, is all I know. In my mid-30s now, and the motorcycle industry is it for me. I started at a very young age riding off-road, and so I with everybody else, and then working my way through, and street bikes have been my passion for many years. GSM was a multi-line franchise, working with Triumph directly. I've been in music videos with Triumph. I've done all kinds of stuff. One of my autograph lights down there in the museum. So I'm really ingrained in that. I love the company. So opposite of schooling, I'm coming from living in the swirl. I'm coming from the retail hours, from going at 8 a.m. and staying until 8 p.m. 6 to 8 weeks to make the deal happen, buying. So it's the opposite side of what school is doing. And for me, I sell the idea that, I came and sat in seats with Sam 5 years ago, and I'm just, holy crap, I'm all this information here. What can I go home and take and actually make happen? What can I do to change my life, to make it easier, to drive more numbers in my future? And it worked out. And, after first meeting Sam, I went back and we did the top 3 years of company history after 20 years. So the implementation aspect, I'm a huge fan of it. And living in the swirl, I totally come with it. I get it. So just take that, and I like to sell the idea that you can take that one thing and change it. Take that one little thing you're going to learn and implement it. And if I can see that, Sam calls it the aha moment in the student's eyes. When I see that, that's what I love to sell. I love seeing that.
Well, it's also interesting because through the years, guys like David Pearson and John Green and some of these guys who've been on our side of the fence as consultants that end up buying a retail store and going out there, they don't know anything other than the way we teach it and the way to do it. They didn't come in with 20 years of retail background. They only know the consulting side of it. And they do very, very well in the industry because they don't know the bad habits that you learn in the retail experience, right? So we like taking people from both sides of the fence. On the retail, why doesn't this concept work? Oh, it's because you're not thinking of this, that when you're 8 to 8 or whatever it is over here. But I also want to know from the retail perspective, why didn't you do it this way? And it's like, oh, I don't know, we never thought about that. It's because we use a phrase called, well, that's the way we've always done it, which doesn't necessarily make it the best way. One of the things Ricky did that very few dealers or sales managers or GSMs in the industry did was embrace the transactional data. And I want to touch on that, which will lead us to the Tour de France bicycling thing that I started off with earlier this morning. The transactional data is some of the most profound, unbelievably telling headroom opportunity that we have in our industry today. And you know, we sit here and we talk about our traffic log and we're only logging 8% of the door swings or whatever the number happens to be. Well, door swings were all the rage back in 2001 and 2002. How many times did the door swing open? Because more important to me than how many bikes did we sell